The fall of Baghdad. The statue falls, but the dictator remains at large. As American forces secure Baghdad in April 2003, one critical question hangs in the balance. Where is Saddam Hussein? The man who ruled Iraq with an iron fist for decades has seemingly vanished, leaving behind only empty palaces and abandoned compounds. The manhunt that would captivate the world is about to begin. The regime crumbles. In the chaotic days following the fall of Baghdad, Saddam's regime disintegrates rapidly. His sons, Uday and Qusay, flee north. His generals scatter. His security apparatus dissolves. But intelligence reports suggest Saddam himself never left Iraq. He's hiding somewhere in the vast landscape he once ruled, a needle in a haystack of tribal loyalties, family connections, and fear. The playing cards. The U.S. military distributes decks of playing cards to troops with the faces of Iraq's most wanted. Saddam Hussein is, naturally, the ace of spades. His sons and inner circle complete the deck. It's an unprecedented public manhunt with rewards in the millions for information leading to their capture. The message is clear: America won't consider the war over until these men are found. The tribal networks. Saddam's power always rested on his tribal connections around Tikrit. Now, those same networks shield him from capture. U.S. intelligence begins mapping clan relationships, family trees, and loyalties dating back generations. They discover that Saddam's security isn't maintained by sophisticated technology but by ancient bonds of blood and tribe, the tribal networks. Saddam's power always rested on his tribal connections around Tikrit. Now, those same networks shield him from capture. U.S. intelligence begins mapping clan relationships, family trees, and loyalties dating back generations. They discover that Saddam's security isn't maintained by sophisticated technology but by ancient bonds of blood and tribe. The first leads. By May 2003, tips begin flooding in. Saddam was seen in Ramadi. He was hiding in Fallujah. He escaped to Syria. He's in a palace in Tikrit. Each lead is investigated, each tip followed. Most lead nowhere. But patterns begin to emerge. Saddam is moving constantly, never staying in one location for more than a few hours. He's traveling with a small group of loyal bodyguards, paying local families for silence and shelter. The intelligence build up. Back in Washington, CIA and military intelligence sift through hundreds of reports daily. Satellite imagery tracks suspicious movements. Signal intelligence monitors communications. Human intelligence, spies and informants on the ground, begins to penetrate Saddam's shrinking circle of trust. They're building a comprehensive picture of how the dictator is surviving and who is helping him, the near misses. In June 2003, American forces raid a farmhouse just minutes after Saddam has reportedly left. They find warm teacups, recently used bedding, and a copy of the Quran that witnesses say belonged to the former dictator. These near misses become increasingly common. The noose is tightening, but Saddam seems to have a sixth sense for danger. The sun's last stand. July 22, 2003. A massive firefight erupts in Mosul. Intelligence has located Uday and Qusay Hussein, Saddam's sons and potential successors, hiding in a private villa. After a 4-hour battle involving rockets, helicopters, and hundreds of troops, both men are killed. It's a significant breakthrough, but Saddam himself remains elusive. Psychological operations. With Saddam still at large, U.S. forces employ psychological operations. Radio broadcasts and leaflets remind Iraqis that Saddam has abandoned them. Where's your leader now, they ask. Hiding while you suffer. The message is clear: Saddam is a coward, unworthy of protection. The technique works. More Iraqis begin cooperating with American forces, providing valuable intelligence. The shrinking circle. By September 2003, Saddam's options narrow considerably. Analysis of captured documents and interrogations of regime officials reveal that his trusted inner circle has dwindled to fewer than 20 people, mostly family members and lifelong associates. Even more telling, he's running out of money, forced to rely on cached resources hidden before the war. The breakthrough. October 2003. A mid-level Ba'ath Party official is captured near Tikrit. During questioning, he reveals a critical piece of information. Saddam's personal bodyguard, Mohammed Ibrahim, has been coordinating the dictator's movements. Ibrahim, a trusted lieutenant from Saddam's hometown, is suddenly the most wanted man in Iraq after Saddam himself. The trusted lieutenant. Mohammed Ibrahim's history with Saddam dates back decades. As a young man, he had proven his loyalty during Saddam's rise to power. As reward, he was given command of an elite security unit responsible for the dictator's personal safety. Now he's the key to finding Saddam. Intelligence assets across Iraq shift their focus to locating Ibrahim. The financial trail. U.S. Treasury officials trace unusual financial transactions across northern Iraq. Large sums are being moved by couriers, bypassing banks and formal institutions. These funds are being used to pay for Saddam's shelter, food, and security. By following the money, intelligence analysts identify several locations where Ibrahim has recently visited. The web of connections. November 2003. U.S. forces begin systematically raiding homes and businesses connected to Ibrahim's extended family. Each person captured yields new information, helping to build a web of connections. A pattern emerges. Ibrahim is moving between 5 specific locations in the Tikrit region, likely keeping Saddam nearby. The surveillance operation. American special forces establish round-the-clock surveillance on suspected safe houses. Drones circle overhead. Communication networks are monitored. Local informants report unusual activity. The net is closing, but Ibrahim proves remarkably adept at evading capture, using simple but effective counter-surveillance techniques. The final piece. Early December 2003. A cousin of Ibrahim's is captured trying to deliver supplies to a remote farmhouse. Under questioning, he reveals that Ibrahim had recently visited the area of Ad-Dor, a small village near Tikrit. It's Saddam's birthplace, a location with deep significance for the dictator. Intelligence analysts flag this as potentially crucial information. Ibrahim's capture. December 1, 2003. Based on precise intelligence, U.S. forces raid a house in Samarra. Inside, they find Mohammed Ibrahim. Unlike many others, he doesn't resist. He's taken into custody and transported to a secure facility for interrogation. U.S. officials believe they're now one step away from finding Saddam himself, breaking Ibrahim. Initially, Ibrahim remains defiant. He insists he hasn't seen Saddam in months. But as interrogations continue, his story begins to unravel. Confronted with evidence of his movements, the testimonies of those he worked with, he realizes his situation is hopeless. Facing potential life imprisonment, Ibrahim makes a fateful decision: the critical intelligence. Mohammed Ibrahim reveals everything. He tells his interrogators that Saddam is hiding in Ad-Dor, just as intelligence had suggested. But what they don't know is the exact location: a small farmhouse where an underground spider hole has been constructed. The entrance is camouflaged with styrofoam and dirt, nearly invisible even to trained eyes. Operation Red Dawn. Armed with this intelligence, U.S. forces quietly prepare an operation codenamed Red Dawn. The mission is planned with absolute secrecy. Only a handful of officers know the true target. The raid is set for December 13, 2003. The operation will focus on 2 locations, Wolverine 1 and Wolverine 2, both properties identified by Ibrahim. The raid begins. December 13, 2003. Just after sunset. Helicopters deliver U.S. troops from the 4th Infantry Division along with special forces to the outskirts of Ad-Dor. The village is quickly surrounded. The soldiers move in with precision, first securing the perimeter, then approaching the target buildings. The operation unfolds in near silence. The search. The soldiers first search Wolverine 1, a modest compound with several buildings. They find nothing. Then they move to Wolverine 2, a small farmhouse with a walled courtyard. The building appears empty, but years of hunting Saddam have taught them to be thorough. They search every inch, looking for any sign of hidden spaces or recent occupation. The discovery. As they examine the property, a soldier notices something strange: a rope sticking out of the ground near a small hut. Pulling on the rope reveals a concealed trapdoor. Below is a narrow shaft leading to a tiny underground chamber. They've found the spider hole. Inside is a man. As they prepare to drop a grenade into the hole just in case, suddenly, a pair of hands emerges. The capture. From the hole emerges a bearded, disheveled man. He raises his arms and says, "My name is Saddam Hussein. I am the president of Iraq and I want to negotiate." The soldiers are momentarily stunned. There's no resistance, no firefight. The most wanted man in Iraq surrenders without a single shot fired. The tyrant who ruled through fear is pulled from the dirt in silence. The aftermath. News of Saddam's capture spreads across Iraq and around the world. In Baghdad, people dance in the streets. In Tikrit, his loyalists fall silent. The man who had built palaces and monuments to himself is found living in a 6-foot hole with a few $1,000s, 2 guns he never fired, and a simple bed. The search for Saddam Hussein is over, but Iraq's journey toward stability has only just begun.